Impact of influence, the Murdaugh family murders. This is the unfolding story of a powerful South Carolina family, the mysterious deaths they are linked to, and our quest to bring you the truth. Hello, friend. Always grateful that you're going to spend time with us. We appreciate that. There's lots of choices. You chose us. We're pleased. I am Matt Harris. Seton Tucker on location for this episode. Hello, Seton.
Hello. I am actually down in Charleston for Alex Murdaugh's bond hearing on federal court financial crimes.
And she has some pictures up on the Murdaugh Podcast Facebook page. You can also, if you want to email mattharrispodcast@gmail.com. You went down to Charleston for the federal, at the federal courthouse. Alex Murdaugh was there?
He was. And he came in. He actually, when he entered the courtroom, he greeted the prosecution team. He said hello to them. He was in his orange jumpsuit. He was shackled on hands and feet. His hair had grown out a little bit since the last time we had seen the mug shot, I think shortly after his conviction on the murders. I guess they shave your head, but his hair has grown out a little bit since that time. And we should also note that I did not see any family members in attendance for this hearing.
So what was he in court for? What was the purpose of this hearing?
Well, this was a bond hearing. So at this hearing, it wasn't a trial. Judge Terry actually said that right off the bat. She said, this is not a trial. This is to basically go over what you've been charged with, which he waived his right to read everything. He said he understood what he has been charged with.
And let's remind people, right, Seton, this is just financial crimes, correct?
Yes, these are financial crimes. He was charged with 22 counts, and he quickly pled not guilty. But in this plea, his attorney, Jim Griffith, said that they did anticipate a change of the plea and that this may happen quickly.
Wait, so he says not guilty.
He says not guilty.
And Griffin says that could change. To me, that as a layperson would mean that there's still some wheeling and dealing going on. Is that what people think?
That's what I took away from it. And after the hearing, all the reporters were gathered around and they were asking questions. And Dick Harpootlian was quick to say, no comment, no comment. That's what I believe. But the lawyers are not really talking about it at this moment.
Sure. Of course, they can't talk about things that are happening. But the way that you say he said that plea could change, there's only one reason you would assume that's going to change, and that is the only way to change would be to say guilty, and the only reason to change to guilty is if he gets some sort of deal. I mean, he's going to be in jail the rest of his life, so now I don't know what they're dealing with, which prison or those kind of things, I guess.
I think that's the end game. I think ultimately they're trying to get Alex Murdaugh the best prison situation for his term. But interestingly enough, they said bond was not an issue. Obviously, he's already incarcerated for these murders. But that Jim Griffith said that Alex wanted to be remanded back to the South Carolina Department of Corrections. So they weren't trying to get into some sort of federal prison at this juncture.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they just thought, well, that wasn't going to happen today, right? So maybe they decided, why even fight that fight at this point?
Yeah, I don't really know exactly how that works. If you're incarcerated by the state and then you have these federal charges, I mean, that's a question for a lawyer, which I am interested in knowing the answer to it, exactly how that works.
Well, we have this feeling, and we've had attorneys kind of tell us that there is going to be like a little peeing contest between South Carolina and the feds as to who gets Alex Murdaugh, right? I mean, South Carolina does not want to turn over a double murderer, right? So I'm assuming what kind of information Alex has, how important it is to the feds, will matter as to whether they say, okay, well, that's pretty good information. We'll take you over on our side. So, but that's just me spitballing.
Does appear to be some sort of showdown happening between the state and the feds. And actually, Fitz News reported this week that the South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson was at war with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and that two of the chief prosecutors had some sort of heated exchange, and they're accusing the feds of copying their work. And I think this is all in relation to maybe the hijacking of Alex Murdaugh's financial crimes.
Well, and also we know that we're pretty sure that Ellen Wilson is going to be running for the governor of the great state of South Carolina at some point, and he'd like to have the Alex Murdaugh feather in his cap, for sure.
Right. But another thing that Sarah Zori said is that, I think she tweeted, is that the South Carolina Department of Corrections does not necessarily want him, and that they would want him transferred out of South Carolina.
And if I had to guess why, I would think a high-profile person like Alex Murdaugh might take up extra resources and extra issues, and they're like, I don't need that. I got enough issues with all these criminals to send that dude somewhere else. That's my only guess, is why they would not want him.
I mean, he is a high-profile prisoner. It's been reported that he's in this special protection type situation. So it would make sense. Why would they not want him out of their custody?
Which brings us to an interesting TikTok. Now, we have really no way to verify Jumpsuit Pablo, but Jumpsuit Pablo posted a TikTok, and I think Fitz News found it, and I've reached out to Jumpsuit Pablo. Hopefully he'll come on the show. He posted this TikTok about him being in the jail that Alex Murdaugh is going to, and here is that TikTok.
I just served 10 years in the same prison that Alex Murdaugh is about to serve his life sentence. I'm still in touch with several inmates who are currently incarcerated there also, and I contacted one to ask him, will Alex Murdaugh be safe once he arrives?
If he go to a yard, where it's more hostile to level 3s and shit like that, and infested with the gangs and shit like that, then yeah, he'll definitely people be waiting on him. You know what I'm saying? People are already ready just to see him. You know what I'm saying? People just want to get around him. You know what I'm saying? People just ready to get with him. You know what I mean? So it won't be it won't be no thing. You know what I mean? He'll definitely be expected upon arrival. You know what I'm saying? So the police can't protect you.
Again, we don't know how legit that is, and I'm not exactly sure what they just want to see him or get with him or be around him. Is that code for bad news rising for Alec? I do not know. Thoughts on that, Seton?
Fitz News said that they kind of took it as maybe he had fans amongst other inmates. I was wondering whether that meant that he would be in some sort of danger. I want to get with you. I don't know what that means, but to me, I took it as maybe he is possibly in some sort of danger.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. I don't know if code is no question. They want to see him. I don't know. I don't want to be seen if I'm going into prison.
I guess he is notorious amongst prisoners, so maybe they do want to see him because let's meet this Alex Murdaugh. We've seen all this news about him. Maybe that, or maybe they think maybe he could help him out with some legal work since he.
Yeah, maybe. Now. What's the deal about, didn't he mention Florida or something? What happened to the Florida thing?
Yeah, I think there was some sort of talk about him, Alex Murdaugh, wanting to be transferred to a prison in Florida. But Fitz News reported that their sources say it won't happen because of all of these pending financial crimes.
Yeah, Florida's where all the good retirees want to go to retire to prison, early bird specials and whatnot. Let's take a break here and talk about one of our fine sponsors. We hope you'll support. Seton, you got a little time in your hands coming up.
Yeah, my middle son just graduated from high school, and my youngest just got her driver's license, and I've always wanted to learn a new language.
Well, I'll tell you, Rosetta Stone makes it easy to get started, and they'll create a learning plan for you that's easy to follow and keeps you motivated and on track with your goals.
Yeah, they have 25 languages to choose from, so I'm looking into Spanish, German, Chinese.
A lot of great options. And what Rosetta Stone does is they break down your new language into bite-sized pieces so you can make progress even if you only have, say, 10 minutes at a time. The Impact of Influence listeners, our listeners, can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime unlimited subscription, which gives you access to all 25 of their languages forever for 40% off. Visit rosettastone.com/today.
Rosetta Stone, how languages learned.
about his buddy, Cory Fleming. You want to move to Cory Fleming now?
Yeah, let's talk about Cory Fleming. He had a bond hearing in federal court as well, in which he took the opposite angle as Alex Murdaugh. He actually pled guilty to wire fraud, which carries a maximum sentence of only 5 years. So it does seem like his attorney, Barbier, got him a pretty good deal.
He was in front of federal judge Richard Gergel. Now, again, this is just the federal thing. And for those who don't know, just to backtrack a little bit, Cory Fleming was good buddies with Alex Murdaugh. They both went to University of South Carolina School of Law, both graduated in 94. And he is the one who Alex Murdaugh said to the Satterfield boys, adults, that, trust me, this guy, Cory Fleming, he's going to take care of you. So he got Cory Fleming to work with Satterfield gentlemen. And then they brought in also Russell Laffitte in this whole mix. Then that's when Fleming skimmed a little off the top, as they say, and took some money in that thing. And I think, and we said all along, which was weird, was, and this is just reading between the lines, at the very beginning of this, I think Fleming was a few $100,000, something like that, right? And but yet Murdaugh took millions. The whole total was something like 4.3 million. And so what Fleming says is, I knew Alex was going to do. He was going to steal from him.
Yeah, but he just didn't know the extent of the thievery.
That's what
he
he's
thought
saying. Yep.
that Alex was only going to steal $100K, not the entire $4.3 million. So he did admit to some knowledge of Alex's misdeeds.
Oh, I think so. Because I said from the very beginning, I'm like, what kind of deal is that for Cory Fleming? He says, I'm going to take 100,000. He's going to let Murdaugh take 4 million. It doesn't seem like neither of these guys are right. I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm just saying that I believe what Cory Fleming is saying, that I knew he was going to steal, and I was stealing. I admit all that stuff, but I know he's taking the whole 4.3 million. And I think that's very possible.
Yeah, he did say he knew. He absolutely knew that this was wrong, that
Right.
he should not have done that.
Yep.
But I'm wondering if maybe in their minds they kind of have this rationalization of, well, I passed you this case, and a lot of times attorneys have, if you pass a good case on to someone, you get some sort of referral fee. So I'm wondering if maybe he had some sort of justification in his mind that it was like that. Not that it makes it right. He definitely should have known better. And I think he has admitted that he absolutely knew better. But I just wonder if there was some rationalization going on in his mind.
Oh, because he wanted to be only a little bit of a thief. He
wanted to be a small thief.
Yeah, he didn't want to get caught. He's like, but Alec goes and takes 4 million. I get 100,000. If Alec would have stuck to the script, we would have gotten away with it.
And also on top of that, he admitted to making up false expenses. So on top of this 100,000 that he knew was going to Alec, he admitted that some of the expenses he made up in this litigation were not real expenses.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, there's no question. He's slimy.
I guess he did say that he has already paid the $670,000 he received in attorney's fees back to the Satterfields.
Yeah, well, I don't know why I was saying 100,000 the whole time. It was 600,000, but you get the idea.
No, I think the 100,000 is what he thought Alec was going to steal.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Either way, they're both slimy. They stole from this family who was supposed to be part of the Murdaugh family, been with them for 20 some years, basically from Paul's birth on. And these guys just blatantly ripped them off. It was a deep betrayal. And Fleming is looking at going to the federal pen for this, for a maximum of 5 years.
Again, I think this was a really good deal that was negotiated by his lawyer. And I think maybe Alex Murdaugh, who is not in a nearly as good a position as Cory Fleming was, is trying to figure out some sort of deal that he can make in regards to these charges he's facing.
And Judge Gergel, by the way, did say there's no guarantee that Fleming wouldn't do some state prison time.
I think that's true. I mean, the state AG's office has said that they still fully plan on prosecuting these financial crimes. Again, I think there's some sort of showdown happening between the feds and the state, and we'll see what happens. I know that Cory Fleming has also agreed to surrender his law license.
So yes, there it is. Fleming going to be behind bars. Lafitte is going to be behind bars. Alex Murdaugh is already behind bars. And we'll see if there's any other names that will be falling. We don't know the depth of some of these schemes, who might have been involved. We still have drug charges out there. Of course, that is a DEA thing versus what we're dealing with right now. But who knows? They could be working together on this with the whole cousin Eddie and Murdaugh allegedly running drugs.
And maybe that's the leverage Alex Murdaugh is trying to wheel and deal, his knowledge of some of these other crimes happening.
Seton, thanks for hitting the federal courthouse today.
Oh, thank you. It was a beautiful day in Charleston. Got to see the defense team having lunch across the street after the trial.
And well, there's Seton has this uncanny gift of finding the attorneys eating, or the judge. She just there's pictures of her. She finds pictures of the defense and the prosecution eating lunch. Judge Newman walking through the streets. She just has a radar for that stuff.
Well, they were right across the street, so I'm not sure exactly what sort of radar that is. I looked across the street.
We're going to have a coffee table book of Seton's pictures of attorneys eating. Well, all right, you get back here, drive safe, and we will talk to you soon. And friends, it's the Murdaugh Podcast Facebook page, and we'll talk to you soon.